Welcome back to Fire Emblem Thracia 776. This is Chapter 17b, which is called, its direct translation is The Rain in May. What that means is, well, a lot of times in fiction, you don't really expect necessarily like the fictional world to use like the same calendar that we do or anything like that, or have the same planets in their solar system or whatever. In Japan, the rainy season is typically like some sources you might see it says it starts in like June, but it could also be like it starts in May, and what it means in like a poetic sort of connotation, because you might see it in songs and works of literature, is that it means like a type of rain that starts out as like a drizzle and turns into a torrential downpour of sorts. So in the context of this chapter, it's kind of like a sick joke about the ballista fire. And that's the focal point of this chapter, is that it's like there's no real easy way to go about a direct assault in this map, which is why we're not doing it. But let's say you did want to do this the long way. You either have to have your beefy units soak some ballista shots, or what you can do is visit one of these houses, like these many houses here with leaf, and the villagers are like, hey, you can use this as cannon fodder if you want. And you can do that at like no real cost, but if you don't use them for that purpose, you get a night proof at the end of the chapter, which is like, whoopee, okay. If you do pay them, which I did do on my first ever run of this game, I actually went B route my first time, then it takes a long time for them to really make a difference in this map, which just makes it all the more grueling. And in the very lower left house, I've never done this, but if you visit it and you pay this guy 20,000 gold, then you can go and open up the gate in the upper right. Basically, you're paying off some of these guys to let you in, more or less, from what I remember. But I've never actually done it in the game, so the context might be eluding me a little bit. So that's one way that you can sort of bypass a few ballista, I guess. The problem is that there's a boss on the gate, and then there's also a Malda as an enemy in this map. If you kill her here, then you don't have to deal with her in a later chapter, although that's kind of like a minor benefit if you know about that chapter at all. It's just one unit in a sea of units. She has the braggy scroll on her, which is kind of like, okay, I mean, if you really want it, you basically have to like put her to sleep or like thief it or something, because, you know, items don't drop off of enemies in this game, so it's another one of those dumb instances where if you play A route, you get it for free, more or less, and if you play B route, you gotta get it the hard way if you want it at all. There's another scroll like that later, that you basically have to thief it off of somebody if you want it, because otherwise it's a boss that you absolutely have to kill. So that's kind of stupid. What I did here was I warped Asbel in carrying Leaf, or vice versa, I didn't see. Probably the first way I said, and then just had him drop Leaf in the minimum range of these ballista to set up the next turn. And then down here in the lower right where all the rest of the units are, I'm just kind of messing around with Glade and Nana, because why not get a little extra experience. If you do it this way, it's kind of a boring chapter, and I do recommend that you do it this way if you go here at all, because this chapter really sucks. It'll take you like 30 turns otherwise. Yeah. The only problem is, part of the reason why I brought them together before engaging this boss is that if Asbel missed one of these shots, I think he actually had to like rely on an addict proc there. I wasn't really looking. If he didn't manage to kill that boss right away, then he could have been in some danger, considering those ballista. And you can, I guess, spend a little bit of extra time taking out the ballista first if you want, which may have been the prudent thing, honestly, because if not, I probably would have had to warp like Finn up there, and that would have sucked pretty bad. And I gotta be honest, that's all I got. Warp skips are not good for commentary, really. You can watch this last little bit of futzing around before I seize. But thanks for watching. I will see you in Chapter 18. It's going to be a little bit more involved, as you might expect.